Do you really believe that being an irresistible woman has to do with having the standard body, perfect hair, and thousands of likes on social media? What if I told you that this is all an illusion, and that the true power of attraction lies in something you carry inside, but perhaps have never truly explored? Society teaches that we need to fit in, be good, smile all the time, please everyone. But let me tell you something. Women who truly enchant don't ask for permission to shine. They have presence, authenticity, courage. They don't follow formulas. They create impact. And this has absolutely nothing to do with aesthetics. It has to do with energy, with magnetism, with the way you occupy your space in the world. This opening here is not just a video, it is an invitation for you to break patterns, deconstruct labels, and start seeing your value from the inside out. Are you prepared? Because what I'm going to reveal to you will change the way you see yourself and how others see you too. But before we dive into the secrets behind this irresistible energy, I want to hear from you. Comment below what you think makes a woman truly charming, and use the word energy in your answer. I want to hear you, because this space is ours. It is for exchange. It is for liberation. Shall we go together? Carla was not the type of woman who attracted attention at first sight. She didn't have the sculptural body that graced magazine covers, nor the Instagrammable style that tends to hypnotize in seconds. She was what many would call ordinary. Skin marked by time, hair tied in an unpretentious bun, simple clothes and an easy smile. But there was something about her that you just couldn't ignore. You know that person who walks into a room and, without making an effort, changes the energy of the place? That was Carla. I didn't need to raise my voice or tell jokes to be heard. When he spoke, everyone listened. When he smiled, everyone wanted to know why. She didn't need to improve herself. She didn't seek approval. She was whole, and that's exactly what made his presence magnetic. It was as if she carried a secret that no one knew how to decipher, but that everyone wanted to discover. A gentle force, almost invisible, but impossible to deny. And this is where the true power of an irresistible woman begins, in the way she feels about herself. Carla wasn't perfect, and she didn't even try to be. But she was authentic, and that, my friend, is pure gold in today's world. I remember a conversation we had once, having a coffee on the balcony of a course we were taking together. She told me something I've never forgotten. People think they need to be more to be loved. Thinner, younger, funnier, more successful. But the truth is, when you feel comfortable in your skin, when you look in the mirror and feel proud of your story, you become a kind of beacon. You start to emit a frequency that attracts people who want light, not looks. At that moment, everything made sense. It wasn't about what she showed, but about what she emanated. Carla connected with people in a profound way because she had the courage to be vulnerable. She talked about her own pain, her insecurities, her achievements, her shame, without fear of being judged. And that was exactly what sparked trust and identification. People felt like they could be themselves around her. No masks, no filters. And in this increasingly edited world, finding someone who is real is a rare gift. If you've ever met someone like this, who arrives and changes the environment, comment below, marking presence. I really want to know if you've ever experienced this feeling. And maybe you're asking yourself now, but how do I develop this energy? How do I create this presence? The truth is that this type of magnetism does not come from outside. It is born when you start treating yourself with respect, when you start to truly listen to yourself, when you set limits, value yourself, and stop comparing yourself to other women. It's a process. It is the result of a journey of self-knowledge, emotional healing, and conscious choices. It's not about fitting a mold. It's about breaking that mold. Women like Carla show us that being irresistible has nothing to do with being perfect, and everything to do with being whole. When you take ownership of your truth, when you learn to walk with your head held high, even when you know you have difficult days, you activate a type of power that transforms not only your life, but that of those around you. And the best part? This power already exists within you. It's just waiting to be awakened. You don't need external approval to get started. You need internal courage to continue. And this video is just the beginning. Come with me, because in the next section, I will show you how to awaken this strength from the inside out with practical, conscious steps that are totally possible for any woman who is ready to live her true version. Shall we go together? Being irresistible is not about living as a character created to please others. It's not about wearing makeup all the time, smiling with forced friendliness, crossing environments with tight clothes, and an air of rehearsed sensuality. This is actually exhausting, and more than that, it is an emotional prison. There is a subtle trap that many women fall into without realizing it, thinking that they need to be in control of their image all the time, being desirable, approved, validated. But do you know what happens when we live in this automatic mode, trying to be sexy enough, cool enough, pretty enough? We disconnect from who we really are. And this disconnection takes away exactly what we desire most: true connection. Magnetism does not live in perfection. It is born from authenticity. That woman you admire who has a sparkle in her eyes and confident speech may not follow any aesthetic standards, but she knows who she is. And that's what makes all the difference. Because there is no energy more powerful than that of someone who knows and accepts themselves, that you don't always need to be on stage to feel alive, who does not live according to external approval. For a long time, we were taught to believe that our value was in our appearance, that being beautiful was the same as being special, that being desired was the ultimate goal. But this is a distortion. It's as if we were conditioned to chase an ideal that was never ours. When we become dependent on other people's eyes to know who we are, we lose our own reflection. And do you know what is most dangerous? The more we try to fit into this superficial model of ideal woman, the more we move away from our essence. The irresistible woman is not the one who forces exaggerated sensuality, who plays a role all the time, who needs everyone's attention to feel enough. Quite the contrary. She is the one who, even in silence, imposes presence, who doesn't apologize for existing, who doesn't measure his words to fit anyone's expectations. Being irresistible is an internal state. It's about having self-esteem, awareness, and a sense of value that doesn't fluctuate depending on the day's likes. It's about looking at yourself kindly, dressing for yourself, expressing yourself truthfully. And it's also about freeing ourselves from this weight of constant performance that society insists on placing on our shoulders. That's why I ask you, have you ever felt like you were forcing yourself to be someone you weren't just trying to please? Comment below with the word release, because just by recognizing this, you have already taken a huge step towards your truth. And let me tell you something that perhaps no one has told you yet. You don't need to be desirable all the time to be memorable. A woman's true presence isn't in her pose, it's in her energy. That energy that comes from within, that is born from small but powerful decisions. How to say no when something doesn't resonate. How to stop comparing yourself to other women. How to stop chasing an image and start building an identity. This is what transforms. That's what inspires. Being irresistible is not about creating a version of yourself to impress. It's about revealing your most authentic self, the one who feels afraid but doesn't hide, who has flaws but loves himself, that you don't need to prove yourself all the time because you know that the simple fact of existing with integrity is enough. On this path of personal development, liberation is a milestone. That's when you stop interpreting and start living, when you stop competing and start connecting, when you understand that your value is not in the eyes of others but in the way you see yourself. It is this change of key that begins to open doors doors to deeper relationships, to more aligned choices, to a lighter life. And that's what we're here for. In the next steps, I will show you how to cultivate this real presence, how to transform insecurities into strength, and how to live so authentically that no one can ignore your light. Let's continue on this journey together, because this is your time. True attraction comes from within, and it reveals itself, especially when you are comfortable in your own skin. It's not about winning over others, it's about reconnecting with yourself. There is a type of energy that only emerges when we stop seeking approval and start living in tune with our own essence. It's that calm that comes when you realize that you don't need to be more than you already are. And the most beautiful thing about it all, it's just that this authenticity is magnetic. When you convey this feeling of, I know who I am and I don't need to prove anything, you access a rare frequency that few people dare to experience. There's no performance, there's no exaggeration, there's no armor. It's true, it has presence, have courage. And when you align yourself with who you really are, something changes. In your gaze, in your tone of voice, in your posture. People understand, even if they don't know how to explain it, because energy doesn't lie. Quiet confidence, one that doesn't shout but is firm, is one of the most powerful strengths a woman can cultivate. It shows that you know yourself, that you listen to yourself, that you respect yourself, and that's what creates real connection. And speaking of connection, let's talk about one of the most overlooked but absolutely essential elements: active listening. Being an irresistible woman is not just about what you convey, but also about how you welcome it. The way you listen to others, with presence, empathy, real attention, says a lot about your emotional maturity. In a world where everyone wants to be heard, those who know how to listen stand out. But really listen, okay? Not just waiting for your turn to speak, but diving into the other person's universe with curiosity, without judgment, without rushing to respond. This creates a field of trust so strong that people feel seen, valued, safe, and that is extremely attractive. Active listening is a clear sign of self-awareness, because you don't always need to be the center of attention to feel important. You know your value, and that's why you can create space for others to shine too. And that is pure magnetism. It's rare, and it is powerful. Because in this game of genuine attraction, those who know how to pay attention with intention transform each conversation into something memorable. And let me tell you, that's where true bonds form. Now, perhaps the deepest and perhaps most challenging aspect of genuine attraction: real vulnerability. That little word so misunderstood. Many women confuse vulnerability with weakness, when in fact it is exactly the opposite. Being vulnerable is having the courage to be seen as you are, with its lights and its shadows. It's showing the scars without shame. It's saying, I don't know, when you don't know. It hurt me, when it hurt. I feel it when you feel it. It's this emotional honesty that creates depth in relationships and attracts people who value truth. And the best part, when you practice this with yourself, you free yourself, because it no longer has the burden of supporting an image. You simply are. And that, my friend, is the basis of unshakable self-confidence. Not that confidence that comes from the ego, but that comes from the heart. That says, I am enough, even on my hardest days. When you combine authenticity, active listening, calm confidence, and real vulnerability, you become a woman who doesn't just walk into a room. You transform the room, because you are whole. It is present, and she's alive. If this makes sense to you, comment below, I am my power. I want to see you occupying the space that is rightfully yours, not out of effort, but out of truth. Because when you live genuinely, you don't need to chase anyone. The right people will feel it, and they will stay. Now that you understand the elements that really build an irresistible presence, it's time to make the most important move on this journey: looking back at yourself. and not in a critical, demanding way or based on comparison with other women, but with curiosity, affection, and true attention. Today's proposal is simple and powerful. Start observing yourself. Watch how you enter places, how people react to your presence, even when you haven't said a word. Your gaze, the rhythm of your breathing, the posture of your body, the silence between your sentences, all of this speaks before your mouth even opens. And more than that, all of this has the power to attract, to generate connection, to touch others in a profound way. The problem is that, in the rush of everyday life, we often go through precious moments without even realizing what is happening around us and within us. But when you start to notice yourself, you activate your personal power. You begin to understand the impact you have on people and spaces, and little by little you realize you are already magnetic. You just need to be aware of it. Have you ever stopped to notice how your internal state shapes your presence? On days when you wake up feeling safe, whole, at peace with yourself, everything seems to flow more lightly. Conversations are more enjoyable. Connections are more natural. Even the looks are different. Now think about the days when you wake up feeling disconnected, trying to fit in, doubting your worth. Your energy changes, and the world responds to it. Therefore, my proposal here is not to teach you how to act like an irresistible woman. That would be just another mask. The proposal is to invite you to be, and being begins with perceiving. Realize how you feel in certain environments, how you react to people, how your body responds to what you are experiencing. This level of presence gives you back a power that should never have been taken from you. When you observe yourself, without judgment, you begin to access deeper layers of your identity. And it is there, in this intimate and authentic space, that your true strength begins to blossom. Because a woman who knows herself recognizes herself, and a woman who recognizes herself does not diminish herself. Don't hide. She knows what she carries. So here's a simple exercise that can completely transform your day. Choose to observe your energy. In truth, today, when you arrive in a room, before pulling out your cell phone, stopping to smile, or trying to adapt to what is expected of you, let's stop. Take a deep breath. Sit your feet on the floor. Realize what you are taking with you. Insecurity, lightness, trust, tiredness, happiness, everything communicates. Your energy is a field, and it begins to be shaped the moment you connect with it. The more you develop this self-awareness, the more refined your personal power becomes. Not because you improve, but because you started to take ownership of who you always were. And then something magical happens. You stop trying to get noticed because it becomes impossible to ignore. This is true magnetism. This is genuine presence. If you're going to do this today, comment below, "I'm going to observe my energy." I want to see you placing yourself as the protagonist of your story, feeling your own impact and cultivating every day this state of presence that transforms. Because being irresistible is not about enchanting the world, it's about coming back to yourself and shine from there. Now that you've started to observe yourself more consciously, perhaps you felt something different inside, as if a new dimension of your own energy is being revealed. And this is real. When you activate this internal gaze, the external world begins to respond differently. It's as if you've pressed an invisible button that reorganizes your presence in any environment. But now let me tell you something that few people talk about. There is a behavior, very subtle, almost invisible, that has the power to nullify all of this. Yes, even if you are authentic, conscious, connected to yourself, if this pattern is active in you, it acts like noise. And the worst part, it can even seem like a quality. Many women carry this habit thinking it is something good, that it shows empathy, flexibility, even maturity. But in reality, it disconnects you from your deepest truth, undermines your self-esteem, and silently destroys your magnetic presence. This is a blind spot And that's exactly why it goes unnoticed. This error is not glaring, it does not attract attention. It is subtle, hidden between the lines of behavior. It could be in the way you respond to messages, in the way you position yourself in a conversation, or even in the way you silence your desire to keep the peace. And because it seems harmless, it grows, becoming a pattern, shaping your attitude in the world without you realizing it. You know that moment when you leave a date or a meeting feeling like you gave too much, said too much, gave in too much, but you don't know exactly why. So it is. This behavior is like a silent thief of your personal power. It takes you away from who you really are, disconnects you from your intuition. And the most dangerous thing, it makes you believe that everything is fine, that this is normal, that it is just like that. Only it isn't. Women who live in this automatic mode end up weakening their energy of presence, undermining their limits, and feeling a dissatisfaction that they don't know how to name. That's what we're going to talk about in the next video, the subtle behavior that sabotages your most authentic energy, and most importantly, how to stop this cycle. If you've made it this far, you're already at another level of consciousness, and therefore, it is essential that you go through this process to the end. In the next video, I will open this blind spot with all the details. I'll show you how to identify this behavior in yourself, even if it's hidden. What's more, I'm going to teach you a simple and powerful strategy to break this pattern in practice, because it's no use just knowing. It needs to be applied. It is necessary to transform this awareness into attitude, in posture, in real presence, because a woman who recognizes her own value can no longer allow herself to live in self-sabotage mode. She chooses more clearly, positions herself more firmly, and lives more truthfully. And if you felt that this video touched you, if something inside already started to move, comment below, "I don't want to sabotage my power." Because what comes next will help you remove the veil that covers a very important part of your strength. And after that, you will no longer accept less than you deserve. Stay with me, because the next chapter will be a turning point in your journey of empowerment. You know, being an irresistible woman has nothing to do with dominating, controlling, or manipulating what's around you. It has much more to do with allowing yourself to be, with trust in your natural brightness, without having to hide or dim your light to fit into spaces that are too small for you. It's about stopping asking permission to exist the way you are. It's about walking with an open heart, even when life asks you for courage, because true feminine power is not in creating a perfect image, but in firmly supporting your authenticity. And it is in this surrender, not in control, that lies his greatest strength. When you allow yourself to truly be seen for all that you are, you create a genuine connection with the world. People are not enchanted by masks, they connect with the truth. And when you start living like this, something magical happens. You inspire other women to do the same. You become a mirror of freedom, of courage, of a living presence. And maybe this video made something move inside. Maybe it reminded you of parts of yourself that were forgotten, or that you had been ignoring out of fear, out of habit, or because you learned that you needed to fit in. But now you know you don't need it anymore. You can choose, from today onwards, to live your essence with more awareness, with more intentionality, with more lightness and magnetism. Your presence is a strength. Your energy is a unique signature in the world. And the most beautiful thing about it all is that this walk doesn't have to be lonely. Here, in this space, we build together. Each video, each conversation, each insight is a piece of this journey of reconnecting with who you really are. I'm here to remind you of that always, because sometimes all we need is a gentle reminder that we already are what we're looking for. We just need to learn to access, trust, and express it truthfully. So if this video touched your heart, if it made you reflect, if you felt that it awakened something important within you, I want to invite you. Subscribe to the channel right now. Activate the bell so you don't miss the next content because there's a lot more coming. And I want you with me on every step of this journey. And more. Share this video with that woman who you know needs to hear this. That friend, sister, colleague who sometimes forgets how powerful she is, how valuable she is, how much she can transform everything around her just by being who she is. When we grow together, no one stops us. Leave here in the comments what touched you most about this video. I read everything with great affection. And he also writes, I am my power to seal this moment with intention because you deserve to live with authenticity, presence, and truth. And this is just the beginning. Until the next video, you are not alone. We are on this journey together.